Howdy folks, I'm Sweet Serpents, serenely slithering into soft sundresses.
I'm Amber.
And here we have the prequel to the other day when the scorpions were singing the sundresses, I guess.
And the shield was protecting the snakes and sundresses.
I guess so, it all comes back full circle. Oh, and folks, we have a live stream this Friday, and we hope to see you there. Make sure to see the end of the video for more details. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Will I Be a Jerk If I Told My Husband That I Won't Allow His Girl Best Friend to Stay With Us While She's in Town? I'm a 22-year-old female, and my husband is a 22-year-old male, and he has a best girlfriend. Let's just call her Jane. Husband met Jane when they were just kids, but Jane moved away the last year of high school. She hasn't been back since, but husband has stayed in contact. I have never met her, and she refuses to have any contact with me. She says it makes her uncomfortable that I want to talk to her. They had feelings for each other, but never at the same time, so there wasn't a relationship at any point. I'm not concerned about cheating. I have full access to my husband's phone, and I know all of his contacts on social media. I have played secretary for him many times. He's had me open pictures and videos from her on Snapchat or read and reply to text messages for him when his hands were full. I am starting to get the impression that she has feelings for him again. We ran into it a few months ago, and he talked about her, and she backed off. Well, she's planning on coming into town for several days in May, and is wanting to stay in our house. I'm extremely uncomfortable with this, especially because husband won't be able to get the weekdays off, so I would be home with her. I am a stay-at-home mom by myself. I don't like that she seems to be interested in my husband, and I hate the idea of having a complete stranger in my space for so long. I'm concerned that my husband will be upset if I tell him that I don't want her to come. I was considering offering to help her pay for a hotel over the weekend so that my husband and I could both be available to see her. Am I being unreasonable, or do I have a right to be cautious about this? Edit, many people are asking why I would be unhappy about this if I want to meet her so badly. She's planning on staying for more than a week. That's a very overwhelming time frame for our first interaction. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, I don't think Opie's in the wrong for wanting to broach this with her husband. And I mean, I think it sounds like if he's already extended the offer to her, then it definitely should have been a two-person thing. If she's just floated the idea and he hasn't committed anything, like, it's still important for Opie to give her input on the situation because it's her space too. And even if there wasn't anything potentially untoward going on behalf of the friend, like, it's still fine to be like, I've never met this person before. I'd rather meet them like in a shorter term interaction instead of being stuck with them for a week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a week is a long time, but I can also understand why they wouldn't want to pay for a hotel for a week, because that can add up pretty quickly. And I think that if OP trusts their husband, then they can expect that nothing untoward's going to happen, that there's not like anything they're going to cheat or anything like that while OP's there, right? But also, if OP has to play hostess for a whole week, then that might not be necessarily the best thing in the world. Maybe she's not planning on being around during the daytime, and that might make things a little easier. But then again, like, that's still going to leave the evenings and everything.
Right, and if she really doesn't want to have anything to do with OP, then, like, that's going to get very, like, uncomfortable very quickly if you have someone who's icing out one of the people in the house.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Puzzle Street says, info, question. How did the she has feelings told to back off situation go? How did she make it clear? How did you find out? And how was this relayed to her? Since she has refused to have any contact with you, I would be worried that she would make some weird accusations or set up something honestly. And OP replies, she started sending him very flirtatious messages and pictures. He came to me directly and said that he was getting the impression that she was trying to make a move and asked what I wanted him to say about her and write it up. So we wrote up a message together and basically just said that she was making him uncomfortable, and then she apologized and stopped doing it. And Throw Rattle says, info, she doesn't want to meet you or talk to you, but wants to stay at your house? I'm confused. Have your husband schedule a dinner with her or something. She can stay in an Airbnb. And OP replies, I think it's got to do with the fact that they don't think that she would have to pay for a hotel after paying for a plane ticket. I'm not certain of that, which is why I didn't include it in the main post. I mean, that's what I've assumed, is that she just wanted to minimize expenses. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for How I Checked My Pregnant Neighbor for How She Was Acting with My Husband? My family, me, husband, 2 daughters, live directly across from our neighbor, Addie, who is, from what I remember, 6 months pregnant. Our neighborhood grew close when her husband died 2 months ago due to a drunk driver. The entire neighborhood basically came to help. Even now, the community still does semi-monthly barbecues and stuff. We know how it felt to have a parent absent. Now, no, my husband did not die, but he was still deployed when we were pregnant with our first. I know that this is not the same thing that she's going through, so we often checked in on her, invited her over, conversations on how to handle being on your own while being pregnant. For a couple weeks now, she has been asking my husband to be her handyman. My husband has no issue with this, and neither did I until a couple weeks ago. She asked my husband to help over the simplest things and barely talks to me anymore. Most of the time, she'll knock and ask if my husband is home, and I'll say no, and she tells me to let him know that she needs him, and then she'll walk off. No talking, no having a chit-chat together, nothing. I can admit that I'm a bit jealous, and I feel weird about this. It was like that she only wanted my husband around. I tried to push these feelings aside until the first incident. Basically, she knocked on my door and handed me a covered plate of cookies. I got excited and I started to thank her about how the girls loved cookies. But then she interrupted me and told me that these were strictly for my husband, not for us. I had a sour taste in my mouth and I thanked her. It made me feel like she was trying to have a big house, little house type of situation. I let my husband know what happened and how I felt. He assured me that nothing was going on, no doubt, but he also agreed that what she did was disrespectful. We agreed that he would stop going over. He would give her the number of men who knows how to do maintenance. She has been cold with us. The second incident happened when the community was having a barbecue in our neighborhood park. The children were running around and us adults were sitting in lawn chairs and talking about whatever. Addie piped up and said how grateful she is for all the help. Even me, after it was strange how basically you forbid your husband from coming over to help anymore. I got a little mad, like I was slapped by God himself, and I just said, well, baking a gift for my husband and then saying to his wife and daughters that they aren't included is strange too. Another neighbor changed the topic and it was awkward. I'm sure there was gossip and whatnot. On one hand, I know that she must still be grieving and maybe she's just looking to have someone be there for her. On the other hand, I feel like the incident with the cookies and then the barbecue makes me feel disrespected. My husband is not happy with how I responded. He says that it's not my job to check someone and that I should have just let her talk. I guess I want to know if I was the jealous jerk through all of this. I don't really have anyone that I could talk to about this personally. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, I don't think OP was the jerk because the neighbor was trying to publicly humiliate her and shame her for what she did.
Yeah.
And probably trying to get the neighborhood to be like, oh, you've got to let your husband go back over.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I think if the husband wanted a different outcome, he should have stepped in and just said, no, I just was too busy or whatever, like come up with some excuse. But he didn't do anything. And he's saying, oh, well, you should just let her trash your reputation, OP. Like, that's not a good way of handling the situation.
No, I think that she's probably hurting. I think that this is where she's still grieving the loss of her husband, and maybe she has taken a shining to OP's husband, and it seems like she wants to make... I mean, the cookies is really overboard, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it would be one thing if it was for the whole family, mm-hmm. and I think that that would have been a very nice, wholesome thing, especially after all the work that the husband has done for her, that she would give, back to the family. But this was clearly a slight against OP. It was meant as an affront to OP.
Right. Like, I mean, if someone helped me and, like, I made them cookies, I wouldn't care if they shared it with the whole family. Like, if they're like, oh, yeah, my family's gonna love this, I'd be like, great, awesome, And so it does seem really strange and really fishy that she's like, this is only for your husband.
Mm-hmm. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Formal Fist Bump says, Soft, you're the jerk. Your family went from providing her with a lot of support to cutting her off completely without any explanation. By doing so, you turned it into a hostile situation. That being said, she's also being rude, but whether she should get a pass on this or not, given her situation, is up to you. The cookie things was odd, but I don't see why that should have been the breaking point. And OP replies, it felt like the breaking point because she started to separate from us in a way, but was still very open towards my husband. I don't know about that person's comment. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're giving the neighbor too much of a pass there because, I understand she's grieving and whatnot, but it does seem very strange that she's cutting off the whole rest of the family and only focusing on Opie's husband. And also, that doesn't also give you an excuse to trash someone else's reputation. I think Opie has a right to correct the record and be like, this wasn't anything unfounded.
Yeah.
And, you can stop helping someone at any point in time if they start making you and your family uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You do not have to, gently ease them into it. You can just be like, this isn't comfortable anymore. We're done.
Yeah. And Shirley Terrified says, not the jerk. I get that she's grieving and probably not in her right mindset, but the cookie thing is weird. If she had said, I made them for the husband, and as a thanks for all the work that he's done for me, that would be fair. But to say that they are just strictly for him is weird. And you were basically politely letting it go until she called you out in public, so I think it's fair to respond to her in public. Plus, honestly, how much DIY or maintenance help does one household need? It's been 2 months since her husband died, and your husband has had to go over multiple times. As a single woman who is useless at DIY and has to get someone to fix almost anything, I don't have people calling me monthly, let alone weekly.
Well, yeah, we have maintenance, or we have to put in maintenance requests on our apartment, once in a while, maybe once or twice a year. And so it does seem very strange that it was, all the time maintenance requests.
And OP replies, I do not know the maintenance her home needs. I know some houses are minor fixes, so maybe that. My husband often just mentions plumbing or ventilation. It could be also that if her house is defective or something like that, or has major issues, that it might require more maintenance.
Yeah.
Or has an ongoing problem of plumbing issues.
But at that point, you should probably be getting a professional.
Yeah. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Why did Pam have to return her new computer to the store?
Pam had to return her new computer to the store because it was demonically possessed and it was starting to delete all of her documents.
The screen said enter, but she couldn't find the door.
Ah! That's actually not terrible, Jovial Bob sign. Not terrible. And I have licorice spice. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on unwelcome guests.
Deciding to host guests should be a thing that all parties in a relationship are on board with.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!